Hello, cracks. How are you today? Thank you for coming. I hope you are making a lot of music and you are in creative mode. So that's why we are here today. Thank you for coming again. We are going to talk about the Elektron Analog 4. Is this machine made in Sweden by the company Elektron? And this machine has been around for many years. This is the second version that is sold today. I have mine one here and we will work on something about it today. After a brief explanation about the synth, I'm going to cover how to work with the synth and make it, maybe if you have the synth already, you can learn new things to get the best of the sounds and the sequencer. Okay, so this is the machine, and if you go to the website of Elektron, you will see that there is this version which is in black color. Mine is in this light gray. Both are exactly the same machine. In the past, there was a version that was with different knobs, and also as opposed to the Octatrack, and you will see some videos about the Octatrack in my channel. Those are in Spanish because I saw that in Spanish we don't have much information about the Octatrack. In this video I was explaining about that the Octatrack is exactly the same machine between the MK1 and the Mark II version. In this case, in the case of the Analog 4, the machine is different. It has different features, and we can go maybe comparing it, but I think I will leave it to you because there is a lot of information on the internet about that. Let me show you the image of the first version of the Analog 4 Mark I. This is the machine. Let me show you. This is the Mark I, and basically what changes with the Mark II is these buttons, the triggers, that the lights are on this lane, and you have a much better buttons now. Also, you have much more buttons here to select the different tracks, and basically the polyphony and everything is basically the same, but also you get additional outs for your sound, so you can split the 4 different voices with 4 different connectors. Okay, so this is basically the difference, and I think that the software overbridge is not the same. Okay, you have to check that on the internet because it will change the way of working a lot if you work with the Mark I versus the Mark II. Okay, what about the price? Okay, the price, the retail price, as you can see here on the website, is 1,700 euros. But you can find it second hand, as I did with this one, around 1,000. I paid 850 euros for it. Yes, the condition is mint, but maybe you will find the old color, this light gray color. Okay. So this synth is really similar, at least from my opinion, with the Waldorf Pulse 2. I'm going to show you this synth here. This is the Waldorf Pulse 2, and the way of working of this synthesizer, I find it very similar to the Elektron Analog 4, with the difference of that the Pulse 2 is just a mono synthesizer, and in the Elektron Analog 4 Mark II, you have like 4 units of these Pulse 2 synthesizers. Okay, but the kind of sound and how it works, I found it quite similar. Okay, quite similar. Of course, this is a much cheaper machine. You can get it brand new for less than 500 euros, and maybe second hand for 200 and something. I had one unit. I sold it And the thing that happened with me with the Pulse 2 was that the sound was really good, especially the basses. I didn't like the sound like raw to work with it, but on the contrary, when I added this synth to the rest of the music, it fitted really good. So I would say that I would buy it again. I would buy it again because the sensation that it left me, the synthesizer left me, and the music I made using this synth with other gear was really good and was fitting really good in the mix, and you can hear it without taking the space of other machines. Okay, this is something that you have to take a lot of care in other synthesizers. So, well, this is another option, a cheaper option with the Push 2. But the video today is about the Elektron Analog Four MKII. Okay, so in these synths, as opposed to the Push 2, you have 4 synthesizers, and also you have more features because you have a complete sequencer. And these sequencers from Elektron are really famous because they are really versatile. People love these sequencers. For me, it's just one more sequencer, which works fine. It has a lot of features, but I wouldn't say it is just the best sequencer system. The Elektron one is just one more, which works different and has a lot of features. That's fine, but there are other sequencers that are really good. What I like about the Analog 4, okay, one thing I like is that in the same box, you have a keyboard, okay? This keyboard is really basic because as you can see, you have only 1 octave. You can change the octave here, okay? You have a transpose button to transpose the sequencing, which is fine, but I am missing a hold key to keep the notes on, okay? This is something missing. You have to do it through the sequencer or maybe using another external keyboard. But anyway, you have a keyboard on the synth, which is really good. The notes are not velocity sensitive nor aftertouch, but it works really good to sequence, okay? And what else I can tell you about this? Okay, you have here 4 different synthesizers, are completely independent. You can also feed the oscillator from the oscillators above, and you have 2 extra lanes here. I call it lanes because you can use the effects here, and the effects appear as one more synthesizer. Why? Because you can also sequence the effects. You can sequence the effects, open, close the effects, change the parameters inside the reverb, the delay, and the chorus. This effect has only 3 types of effects, okay? It's just a chorus, a reverb, and a delay. And the quality is really good, but you have only 3 options, right? What else? You have a CB lane, which is really interesting if you work with modular or semi-modular synthesizers. Okay, so you can also program independent sequence out of these 4 Intel synthesizer and also the effects, and you can use external gear as you would use with the MIDI connection, but also with the CB connection, because you can control voltage for both gates and 1 volt per octave notes or whatever other system you use. Okay, here what else do you have? You have the main volume. This is interesting, the quick performance, and in the screen you can see that. We will see that in the demo of the tutorial of the synthesizer. But it's interesting that you can also use this Analog 4 synth live. Okay, you have a lot of buttons and a lot of features to use it on a live environment for DAWless gigs. Okay, what else do we have here? You have here the complete unit. You have a storage to save a lot of sequences, a lot of patterns, and a lot of configuration. I will see in the sound. You have an arpeggiator as well. What I think could be improved in this synthesizer, okay, the thing that I didn't like much was, for example, these rotary knobs. The design of the rotary knobs is really sensible, especially when you have to push the encoders to select some options. We will see that in the modulation option with the LFO and also the envelopes. Okay, but for the rest are, for rotating is accurate, but for pressing it, you don't feel it like stable. Sometimes you press and you select another option. Okay. What about the rest? You have external input, which is interesting if you want to process with these effects this. And the control voltage connection, you have 4 of them, which is fine, but the connectors are big. So you need cables to convert this size of cable, the standard one, with the big ones that are mono. Okay, so these are special cables. I have some of them, but not here at hand. I will show you maybe later. Okay. What else can we say about this synth? The sequencing. And yes, you can inspire with it. Okay, you have here the back, the MIDI in, MIDI out, MIDI through. You have also control voltage in. I haven't used this option. And a very interesting option is that you have also a USB connector, and this is much better than the other, that Elektron gives you software, which is called Overbridge, to do 2 things. First of all, you can edit the parameters of any synth in your computer. You cannot edit the sequencer with the computer. You have to use the sequencer on the machine. But the design of the sounds and also the effect parameters are controlled through the Overbridge. And on top of that, it's just not a MIDI USB connection, it's a MIDI and audio connection. So you can also get directly the channels, and you can see the synth as one more audio interface, where you will have the raw signal of the 4 synths, and you can process that in your computer using maybe Ableton Live, Logic, or wherever. Okay, what about these features? Okay, I have already spoke about them. I would underline that you have 2 oscillators with sub-oscillators. All these oscillators are analog, and you have 1 noise oscillator. You have 2 filters. You have LFOs, 5 LFOs, 3 envelopes, 2 more here, and in 3 individual sound effects. The polyphony, okay, this is not a synth to use with polyphony. Okay, I have, for example, here the Novation Peak, and it's much more better for polyphony. So if you want to design paths, or you want to design like very wide palette of sounds, I would tell you that buy a synth with a lot of polyphony, like the Novation Peak or others. Okay, in this synth you can use polyphony, but you take the polyphony out of the other channels. It's the same as with the Vermona Performer. You can use it polyphony, but at the end, I would suggest that if you want pure polyphony about big paths and synth with different notes, use another synth. That's clear. Okay, you have all the storage is internal. You can of course save the patches in the computer, I think, with Overbridge, but you don't have any card to storage it locally. It's in the internal memory. Okay, but it is more than enough to store projects and sound, because the amount of memory that it takes for the patches and the sequences is small. Okay, everything about the sequence, the hardware. Also one more important thing is that the screen is better in this MK2. So I would suggest, of course, if you have the money, buy the MK2. If 1,700 euros is too much for you, you can buy it second hand in eBay, or here in Spain we use a lot of Wallapop or other platforms that you can find those for free for a cheaper price. Okay, and that's it about the synth. So let's go to the rack, and I will show you how the synth works. Okay, enjoy. Okay, cracks. Okay, so here we are with the Elektron Analog 4. As you can see, this is the light gray unit. So I will show you a basic workflow about how to work with it. Okay, first of all, when you save your work or you start from scratch, you have like 2 different kind of configuration and storage. One of the storage is for the sequencer, okay, for all the notes that you send with the keyboard to the synth. This is saved on the patterns, okay, on the pattern with this button. And a part of that, you have the sounds that you manage here on the right. And these sounds, you save these on sounds and also in kits, okay? Sound is one individual sound for each of those, and the kit is just the combination of all the sounds and the effects to save those together, okay? So, how can you start from scratch with the Elektron Analog 4? Really easy. First of all, we are going to clear the instruments, okay? And to know how the instruments sound, you just play them. As you can see, this is not the default sound, because the default sound is really easy to see. You will hear it now. So I'm going to clear the kit. I'm going to clear the four sounds and the FS configuration. How do I do that? You can go here to kit, and then you put here clear kit and hit yes. Clear kit, yes. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do now is to save the kit. Even if it is clear, it is, if I select the different sounds, everything is clear, okay? So what I'm going to do is function kit, and I save the kit, and I'm going to save in the 5th position, for example. And I'm going to call it kit number 5. I hit yes. So this is clear, okay? For the rest, this is also reset, but the octave was lower, okay, in this case. And if I turn it this, yes, we have everything starting from scratch, okay? So this is reset, but the sequencer has information in the notes. To see the notes on the Elektron Analog 4, you click on this record button and you will see the steps that are recorded, okay? So I'm going to clear all the information about the track. So I will clear the whole pattern, okay? I'm going to select a blank pattern. So because I use kit number 5, I can load the kit again, kit number 5. I'm going to use the pattern number A5, okay? So you have these banks of patterns. So I'm going to click on A and now click 5. Perfect. So this pattern at this moment is really empty, okay? So if I hit play, nothing happens. I have track 1 selected. I can put some notes. Okay, so it's working. Perfect. So from now on, every time you work on something, make sure that you save twice. You have to save the kit with function kit, and you hit enter. You overwrite kit 5, and also you save the pattern with this button, save pattern. So you don't lose anything, okay? What else? How can you start? Okay, we are going to use, initially we're going to program some sounds from scratch, okay? So I'm going to program a bass, so you can see how the synthesis works in this synth. And then for the other 2 tracks, I will use some sounds that are already in the library, okay? So first of all, you select the track 1, it becomes red. If you press function and track 1, it becomes yellow, which is muted, okay? So I'm going to enable it, but be careful, because even if it is muted, if you play the keyboard, it will sound, okay? So I just enable it to listen to the synth, and I'm going to do something maybe in C minor, okay? Perfect. Okay, so at this moment, how can you work with the synth? Okay, initially with the Elektron gear, you can get lost very easily. So there are like some keys that you have to keep in mind all the time. First is the no button that takes you out of the screens. Then this tracks button, and also the kit button, and also the performance button. Okay, so you can get out of the mess of the screens really easily. It works similar to the machine MKIII, where you get to the screens and you have to know with the muscle memory how to change the screens. Okay, but it will take some time, but you have to practice. Okay, so initially, how I'm going to edit this sound? Okay, I go to the first sound here, and here I have all the configuration of the sound in this line. Okay, as you can see, we are going to work with the labels of this button. So I'm going to ignore at the moment the arpeggiator and the note, and I'm going to work on the oscillator to define the sound. Okay. In this, as you can see here, you have two oscillators. For oscillator 1, you have all the waveforms here. So these 10 rotary knobs belong to the 10 parts in this screen. Okay. Apart of that, you have the kit number, the kit name. You have the BPM. You can change the BPM clicking here and changing it with this rotary knob. Okay, and you have down here information about where you are in the pattern, A5, we are in A5. Okay, and you have also the level of here, you can change it with this knob. As you can see, it changes the number here, but it also changes the bar down here. Okay, I'm going to leave it at 100, is the default. Okay, so let's make some sound, for example, for a bass. So I have here a sawtooth. You can also with this add a sub oscillator, one octave down. Perfect. I'm going to go then to the filter. I'm going to take the upper part of these are the two filters. Okay, the first filter is 24 dB, the second is 12 dB. So this is a stronger filter. Okay, how can you change it? This rotary for the frequency, this for the I can say it for the resonance, and this is the overdrive track and the depth of the filter envelope. Okay, so frequency, I'm going to lower it down, and as you can see, this changes. You take the high frequency of the bass. We can lower up the resonance. For example, this is fine. And we can also increase the depth, so when the filter opens, it will change. It will use an envelope, okay, to have a higher frequencies. That's fine. Okay. Next, let's go to the amp envelope, which is the ADS, typical ADSR. So here, if we want a bass, we put a very short attack. Sustain, we're going to lower the sustain to make it to 0. Something like that. Okay, and then you have here the send effect. So when you have the amp selected, you can send sound also to the delay, to the chorus, and to the reverb. So I'm going to increase the delay, for example. Perfect. Okay, so we are ready with the first sound. I'm going to use the sequencer. Okay, so how can I use the sequencer? You can record the notes live, or you can press this button and also the play, and it will move, and you can record on that. You don't see anything on this, but as long as I stop and press the record again, you will see the notes that I created. Okay, And you can also modify them. For example, if I click here and press it here, I can see that I play a D note. I can change it to Si bemol, for example, okay? Okay. In my case, I normally use the step sequencer. So how can I clear all this mess? Okay, I can just click on those to disable them, or if I have this light enabled, and as you can see here, you can see copy, clear, and paste. So I'm going to use the clear option. It's green, so you have to press the function and then clear. So be careful now, because if you have this light on, when you clear, you change this sequence for this track. Okay, as you can see in the screen, clear track. But if I have this off, you won't clear the track. You clear the whole pattern for the four sequence, for the four synths, and also for the effects and CV. Okay, so be careful when you clear. Okay, if you want to clear just the information for this lane, for this track, you need this enabled. Okay, clear track. If you do this without, clear pattern. Make sure you do this. Okay. So how can we do this? Okay, so for step sequence, I just record this. I put everything, play. And what I like to do is to, now that I have the speed that I'm going to work, I change the sound with the sequence on. Okay, so you will see that I want to change the amp and the effects. Have a look. Okay, now that I have the sound I like, I'm going to change some notes in the sequence, okay? Okay, I think this is fine. So I'm going to save everything, right? As you remember, function save kit in position kit 5. Yes, and I'm going to save the whole pattern, which is pattern, save pattern. Remember that I selected the pattern with A and 5. Okay, perfect, excellent. So let's go to the second sound. Okay, I'm going to use T2. It becomes red, okay, and it has a blank sound. Okay, so I'm going to maybe use something like a soft attack, for example. I'm going to use the second oscillator as well. LFO to change this. So you can go to here to LFO, you decrease the speed because initially it's like 16. You change the LFO speed with these two, okay? This is really strange, but it's how it works. So I change it to 2 or 1 and lower the speed. And then I put here the destination, okay? I'm going to select the wave of this as sine. And the destination, which is the destination? I forgot it, let me check. Filter to depth, okay. So here, filter to depth here. And I had to now to press the controller. This is very sensible. Okay, depth. Oh. Okay, I'm done with the sound design, so I'm going to put now some notes in the sequencer. For example, perfect. Okay, let's learn now about another part of the sequencer, which is the speed of this track. So how can you change that? Okay, you press the function here, you select this scale button, and as you can see here, when it says normal, you have 16 steps for everything. Okay, so in my case, I'm going to select advanced. Sorry, not yet. I'm going to select normal, but now I'm going to select it to make the sequence slower. So for example, for two times, okay? So I'm going to press yes. I was in the wrong place, I think. No, you cannot change it just for one track. So I have to select advanced. So I go to advanced here, and you have here, yes, for track, what is the configuration you use? For track 1, I will leave it as is. For track 2, I will leave it slower, half speed. Okay, let's see now. So as you can see, in the first track, when I hit play, this is the speed of the sequence. But if I select the second, it's slower. Okay, and you can even change the steps. Here I put 64. So in this case, you can reach the end of the sequence. And you can also change the length of the notes. I click here, and if I go to note, I can change the length of the notes here. Okay, So this is how the sequence works. Okay, let's continue with the third sound. And in this case, for this third sound, instead of using a standard sound, I'm going to use the library. Okay, so for the library notes, you just press it twice and you get to this list. Okay, there are two lists. If you go left now, you have the pull and also you have the I drive, the plus drive. The plus drive is the one with all the sounds of the synth, and the pull is empty now, but you can select some sounds and create the pull for you to change sounds in the performance faster without knowing and going through a lot of pages, because this has all the sounds of the machine. Okay, and you can see that the name of the sound starts with A, but you can also go right or here select B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J. It's until J002. So there are a lot of sounds. Okay, how can you check the sounds? Just going through one on one. You just go up and down very easily. How can you filter those? Because you have a lot of hundreds of sounds. You can go left and you filter, press yes, and then I want just to select, for example, percussions. So now let's try this. I press yes, and now the sound is loaded in the third space. Okay, first of all, well, I'm going to change the sound a bit. So okay. So now I'm going to put some triggers for this. I'm going to change out the effects, and I will make the delay with ping pong, like here, and then increase the width. Okay, and another interesting thing of the Analog Four sequencer is that I can go back to the track and change the probability of the triggers. So I'm going to click on these three, for example. If I go to note, this knob is the one for the probability. At the moment, it's 100% for everything. I can lower it. Let's see what happens without touching anything. It's interesting. I don't need to go one by one to change the probability. You can change it like here directly. If I want to change just for one, you just click on it, hold it on, and change the probability. For example, for this 10, I want it with a higher probability than 20. So I'm going to put it at 40, like that. Okay, I'm going to use an LFO to change the panning for the amp. Okay, so LFO, the LFO, the first one is used, so I'm going to press it twice. I'm going to use the second, and as you can see, the pan destination is already here. So I just need to lower the speed, maybe change the shape to random or to square, and increase the depth. I'm going to also change the filter of this. The filter frequency. So let's try with this one. Filter. Filter 1 frequency. Okay, so this is getting shape, and now it's the time to use the mixer. So I'm going to click here on mix, and as you can see, you have the volumes of everything here. How does it work? Okay, you can, for example, if you want to mute channels, you press function and you take them out. Okay. If you want to go one by one, function 2. You can also mute using another combination. You just take this record out, and when you have this disabled, you have the 6 mutes of these channels here, okay, in this part. So just pressing function, you will see that the mute and the squares start to light here. So you can just click here, let me press play. And as soon as I release the button, okay, it's a different way of. I engage it, it becomes a plus, and then I release. 1, 2, and 3. Whoa. Okay, so let's go with the fourth one. And for this, I'm going to load the sound as well, because this is empty. I'm going to load the sound from the library. I click twice, and then let me check here. For example, this one, because I want to use the arpeggiator. So yes. So for the arpeggiator, you just click ARP, and then it is off. You switch it on. The arpeggiator, you just select one trigger, press this, sorry, with this record on. And as I told you, this is not it's a polyphonic synth, but you have to take information from the others. But if you are working on an arpeggiator, as soon as I program a sound and you press more keys than one, you will see that these are added, okay, up to 4. Okay, what's going on? The problem is that this trigger is not long enough to do the whole thing, so I have also to increase the length of the note. I can do it here with this knob, length. Let's see if it works. No. This is the note of each individual length of the arpeggiator. Here, for note, I had to change here, length. So without anything touched, I think it should increase this, all the notes here. Yes. If I go to 16, for example, this can be something interesting, that I can modulate this rotary knob with the LFO. So let's try it, why not? Because at the end, this synth, you shouldn't buy it just for the sound, because you can get this analog sound from many other options, okay? What makes the difference is the unique combination of having a sequencer that changes everything. So it's a new way of creating, I wouldn't say pure sounds, but yes, sounds that change with time. This is unique for this analog 4 sequence, and it is really creative, okay? That's the good part of the Octatrack and also this machine, okay? So let's use an LFO and apply the LFO to the, it's called note length, okay? LFO, let's see if I can do it. Note length, oscillator, filter, I think it's not possible. No, it's not possible. It's not possible to apply the LFO to that. Okay, well, one limitation. Let's do something different. For example, let's change something in the oscillator, for example. I will make the change manually and see if it works, okay, initially. For example, define the tune of the main oscillator. So here, oscillator 1, linear detune. Remember that after setting the LFO, you have to put also the depth, so how big this wave from the LFO affects the parameter. If it is at 0, it won't do anything. And also the speed. Okay. One thing that I can try as well is to change the length of the note. Maybe, well, I can do it manually in the performance. And I don't know if this would be possible to change the note length. Let me check with the quick performance. Performance, and then here set a performance configure A. Let's check if I can. Oops, track 4, yes, track 4, and the parameter is note, no, meta note, no. It's the same list as the LFO, environment LFO, no, nothing. Not possible. All right, so it's something you can change live in the performance, which is also nice, because you don't want everything to run alone. You want to change things, okay? So you can do this manually, the ARP and note parameters. All the rest are managed by the LFO and the M, and also in the performance configuration, you can configure all these parameters, but the ARP and the note, okay? So this is the explanation of the whole Analog 4 thing. Well, it's not whole, because we have a lot of things pending, like the different triggers, the accent, the slides. You have also the song mode, which I don't use much, but at least you have an overview about how it sounds and what you can do with it, okay? Let me go back to the computer, because I'm going to set up my Roland TR-8S to make a performance, and you will see it working with this sequence. Okay, see you now.